after a lot of planning, this is what I've come up with so far. We'll see how it looks like when I actually put substrate in and mount it. So it'll be a much needed improvement over this tank, which was supposed to be temporary, but it's been up for 2 years now. So this tank I actually ended up getting out of a vacant apartment or apartment eviction. I used to work in building maintenance, so people would leave fish tanks and fish in them when they got evicted and not care for them, so I used to rescue them. And actually the platies that are in here are from then still. I think these are actually offspring. And I did have guppies, however, they have since passed away. And you'll notice if you look close, I ended up painting these black. They were originally a wood color, as well as the stand. It's one of those fiberboard stands, but I disassembled the whole thing and sanded it. Well, first I painted it. It's the paint I used, said it didn't need to be sanded or primed. And then I had to sand all of that paint off and prime it and paint it again because it didn't stick. But they had brass handle and brass hardware, and I painted them, and the wood is painted all around. Because that wood paneling color from the 70s, 80s is disgusting. So I'm going to be using these mesh bags that I bought on eBay a long time ago. It's lava rock. It's crushed lava rock, so it's like under 3/4 wide. So I'm going to fill these bags with lava rocks and use it under the substrate that I'm using. Because I'm using this, a fluval stratum, as a substrate, and as you can see, it's only 8.8 pounds, and this is about $27. So I think I would need quite a few bags of that if I was going to stack it up, and I'm just trying to make the best tank I can for what I have, because I already have 3 of those bags from when last time I was going to set up a tank and never did. Nice, came with some free wood. Now this stuff is also great because of all of the beneficial bacteria that will grow in it. It will just help filter the aquarium. One thing to note is you should wash this stuff before you use it, because it will make a hell of a mess if you don't. Now, you'll never actually get all of the debris out of it, because every time you move it, it's going to break some more off. But, I mean, they are rock, so as long as you're having it on the bottom of the tank, it shouldn't really affect your tank, because it'll just stay at the bottom. So, this is what I've come up with so far. This lava rock bag thing should do the trick here. As you can see, it's just filled, and then these are just sat on top. So hopefully that'll all work out. This will be the first time I'm trying it. You also see I put this little dam in here. This is just corrugated plastic, it's like advertisement sign that you would get from the side of the road for somebody picking up trash removal or something like that. I got this on eBay. It was really cheap. So I might leave it in place. I don't know, depending on how deep it goes. But over here is supposed to be a sandy area. It's just a different contrast from everything else. So I'm gonna start adding the substrate and we'll see how it goes. Now the substrate does say somewhere on here that you're supposed to rinse it out first, but I've seen mixed reviews about rinsing it out versus not rinsing it out, so I'm just going to pour it directly in. I'm also doing the dry start method, which is basically do everything, put a seed bed down, and then plant. It basically turns it into a terrarium for about 2 weeks while the seeds come up, and it'll make a good root bed. And I'll just show that process while we're going through here. Now this stuff I've had for a couple of years, so I don't know how long it lasts or if it's any good anymore, but we're gonna find out. So I might only need 2 bags after all. I'm actually going to take out some of this lava rocks because it's just too much of a hill for now. So I didn't want to do this because now that I have the substrate in here, it just kind of starts to make a big mess. If you're moving this stuff around, it turns into mud if you're messing around with it too much. So. I like this face, but it doesn't flow with the other rock, so kind of has to go with that. You can hear the dog going crazy. I'm not exactly sure how I want this to go now. I think I like that. I only bought a 5-pound bag of sand, so we're gonna have to see if it will actually be enough. Now, I am waiting for seeds to show up. They should be here today, according to Amazon, but you never know. Not anymore. Not with the Amazon Prime anymore. Sometimes it says it's coming today and it doesn't show up ever. So this is the sand that I'm using. I don't know why it's called aquarium gravel. It's really fine gravel. I mean, I would call it sand. It's a tiny bit bigger than sand. This is what happens when you forget to rinse it out. Now I have to take all of it back out and wash it. I would be more upset if this were an entire 50-pound bag, but it is what it is. Sometimes you own the road, sometimes the road owns you. I'm gonna call that good enough. Okay, take two. Now your next step is going to be to wet the soil so it doesn't go everywhere before you put the seeds on it. I'm just using a sprayer. You can obviously use a hand pump or whatever you would like. Now you do not want to put enough in there to have puddles at this point because you're going to be spraying every day. So I'm just doing a misting. And then once I get my seeds in the mail, I will go ahead and do the layer of seeds and then seal it up with plastic wrap, put a light on it, open the plastic wrap once a day to let all the air just circulate a little bit so you don't get any mold problems. The light should heat it up enough. I'm going to use an LED light, a floodlight. The light should heat it up enough to allow the seeds to germinate. But if not, I was thinking I could also take like a container of water and put it in here over by the sand, and then put a tank heater in there and just turn that up to 80, so there'd be an 80-degree source in here for the plants to germinate. But we'll see, I might not need it. So this is the layout of what the tank looks like so far. At least from the top view. I'm not sure how I'm going to remove the corrugated part or not. Well, I don't know how I'm going to remove it. I was thinking about just pulling it out, but at this point, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do to pull it out. I feel like it's just going to pull some sand up with it and mix together, so we'll see. But I'm not even sure how these rocks are going to turn out when they're completely wet, because this one is a different color from this one, but this is my biggest piece, so we shall see.